This is your weekend market recap for Friday, February 18th, 2022. Let's go. This is Dan Max at EXP Realty, aka the Trading Agent, and this is my stock, Bitcoin, gold, and silver daily market recaps. Please subscribe if you like what you see. Thank you. This is Dan Max at EXP Realty, aka the Trading Agent. This is a daily weekend market recap for Friday, February 18th, 2022. Let's get into it. As always, we start on the Discord room. A lot of great conversation about the markets today, what to expect next week, interest rates, how to trade options, how to not get killed trading options, what was going on with the IWM, how to trade the SPY futures and ES futures, a lot going on. So I appreciate it. I'm going to pause right now and ask you, if you're watching this video, please slap the like button and please don't forget to leave a comment. I like interacting with the people and offering help. I mean, as of this week, we did a Facebook video for a specific friend of ours who's a follower because they want to ask, what do you think for the Facebook long term? We did that video. That's the kind of stuff we do here. Also, again, if you want to join, pop into the Discord room. Link is in the description below. So at that point, we get past the beginning introductions in Bitcoin. If you're new to the channel again and you're wondering what's going on with Bitcoin, we've been pretty spot on. We said wait for the trending line to break, broke it. We said watch the VAP zone. If you don't know what VAP is, it's volume at price. See this in the green little box here. We hit the bottom of it, backed off. And what did I say? Don't be surprised if you retest the lows at some point. It could happen. Again, I'm not trading it. I don't have a position in it. But if it is potentially going back to 35,000 area, don't be surprised if it does and watch what happens. Right now, you have a pretty good buy. You know, someone who bought down here, there's a ton of volume, which says ultimately that, hey, somebody had the ability to stop a downtrend with volume. So if you get a retest of it, you're probably a strong buy. That's all I'm going to say on that. I mean, at this point, I think it's at a place where don't touch it. Just wait. See what happens. The levels, you need to get over the 45 to be bullish. At this point, anywhere is possible back in here. Know your entries, know your stops, know what the hell is going on. TLT. Yeah, check the live trade alerts. What do we say? I think the TLT was bottoming at the pink gap fill. If you're new to the channel, again, I mean, I hate to sound like a broken record, but support equals resistance. This stuff isn't hard. It doesn't take a genius. I'm not some super magical powered superhuman to say, hey, look, it fills the gap, it's retesting an area, it might bounce. Well, I called that earlier this week. Everyone else in the room expected that. We're not surprised that interest rates actually went lower, the TLT went higher. It is oversold. Be aware that the 10-year went from like 130s up to 210. I mean, that is almost a 3/4 rate hike from the Feds, all priced in. What happens if they only go 1/4? Well, that means the TLT could go screaming right back to closer to the highs. Market might like that. Just be aware of it. Not really bearish at the moment, markets. Even though the seasonality says you should. Feds have a lot of weight here. The dollar, what we said, just watch the 50-day, 20-day, 100-day. This little, like, I don't know, blue blob. That's what I'd be watching. Keep it real simple. At this point, the dollar really isn't doing much, so it doesn't matter. The VIX, this has got to be very concerning for the bears, is that the VIX is kind of in this wedge pattern, and as the SPY goes towards the lows, the VIX isn't confirming it. Like, you want to see the VIX blowing out to blow out the SPY. Let's get to the SPY as we're talking about it. What I mean by that is, like, you want to see the SPY down here if the VIX is really blowing out. I know it's a process, but be aware, we closed above. This is a gap. Keep in mind, I apologize. Usually I paint the gap. Think it's a gap. We're holding it. I'm not surprised that we closed right near Monday's lows. If you look at the weekly, because this is a weekend market recap, you were at the 50 week. At this point, I'm not really. I mean, again, you can be bearish, but just trade it. I feel like this market, and we talk about this in the Discord room, is running headline to headline, war headline to nothing, to the Feds. I mean, it's just jumping around, and trading long term off of that, I would be more probably bearish than bullish. But I'm also not going to be surprised that at some point the Feds try to protect this market. We're into a election year. If the market is getting crushed in the near term, I think they're going to try to reprieve that. Let's see what happens. SPY at this point, again, we've said this downtrend. I don't know if it's really that valid of a downtrend because you do have like these anomalies, but this is what it is. It seemed to hold, you know, it seemed to be the top here and the 200-day during the week. Let me lighten that up for you. Volumes are okay. Again, is OPEX. I mean, I bought the dip on the IWM. We'll get into it in a minute just for a scalp. Took a few points, but I mean, I can see the SPY bouncing back. I mean, it's like the trade war that headlines, like it never ends. Well, the same thing with the freaking here comes a real war, World War III. It's not happening. It doesn't seem like it. Qs, we talked about the trend breaking. If it broke, you could go lower. Again, at this point in the Qs, you're into what I would consider a new VAP, this old VAP zone that we hit on January. Could it go lower? Yeah, but at this point, I don't think you want to short until you see confirmed lows. I mean, the wick today at the close popped right back up. If you're bullish, be getting in at the lows, or you have to break the trend line. I know it sounds hard for people to realize that, but if you don't break the trend line and you're bullish, look what happens. You come right back. If you don't, you know, if you can't get over the 20-day, you come down. And so if you're trying to swing trade this, you're going to get your ass handed to you trying to overtrade this. So be at the extremes. IWM, I like what the IWM is doing because it looks more bullish to me. I know it wasn't ideal of a close at the 20-day. It seems to be holding up. Keep in mind, this thing went from 245 down to 190 or 188. You do the math on that, you know, it's more than 20%. And so at the 20-day, it looks interesting. I am expecting it to hit the 50-day at some point. And there it is. Maybe it ends up being here. It's a swing scalp. I mean, I'm not large. And again, when I'm unsure, I don't go big. And it's just rocket science. Some people do the opposite. When they're unsure, they just go bigger. It's like, what are you doing? Gold, we talked about this all week. Breakout, new highs. Looks strong. If you're not familiar with the channel and how we love gold long term, absolutely love it. Big ass cup and handle monthly. You are breaking the downtrend. I'd like to see some more volume, but at this point, when you zoom in on the daily, you do see volume. So it is confirmed there. At this point, don't be surprised if it chops a little bit. Do not chase this in the sense of like, just because it's rising, like wait for pullbacks. Even in the uptrends, you get pullbacks. You get these little pullbacks. Like just don't chase an up price. A day where it gaps up like this, or sorry, Thursday, and then dojis, it might not be ready. Just keep it that simple. I'm not here to criticize people for chasing, but I don't do it because I know in an up move there's backfills, and that's where I want to be a dip buyer. The trend is your friend, but don't chase the top. Good old silver. We did a whole video about pin action and how stocks can get pinned to certain prices, and the pin action said 22 area was the pin. Do we get the free silver move? Like free silver, like as in free silver from the claws of paper problems? Because at this point, oops, it might be time. It might be time for silver to wake up. And if silver wakes up, daddy's going to be happy. It's got a lot of potential. Let's just call it that. I think it's ready to go. But if you've been buying in our no-brainer buy zone, you're sitting here just happy as a clam. You're chilling. You're not overthinking it. GDX, we've talked about the miners. Nice test of upper bounds here. Again, support equals resistance. This area is probably going to be resistance because there's people looking at it going, well, if you get back over here, you should sell it. And I know a lot of people are, but the irony is, when in doubt, they never zoom out, because if they did, look what's going on. We're in a pennant. Pennant, mofos. You bought at the low end of the pennant like we talked about. Don't be surprised when it compresses and breaks out. Like, do not overtrade. Overtrade is the death of you. Sometimes the trend is your friend. Yes, every day is not up, but you don't overtrade, because if you get caught selling at the wrong prices, you're going to regret it. Same thing the monthly here on the GDXJ. You're at the bottom of the channel. And again, if you're not this, there's people who need to be watching this far into the videos, because they ask me about gold and the miners, and I'm like, what are you doing? Why are you overthinking? I get it, selling some covered calls. It makes total sense. But I would rather wait for a multi-day top than to be early selling calls at this point, because if you're wrong,
it's just going to continue going higher. So keep that in mind. Multi-day highs to sell calls. If it's unlucky and it does that, well, guess what? If it's more like this, then you have the opportunity to do it. Multi-day like that. Wait, I would think the 200-day. Let's just keep it simple, stupid, as always. AEM. I don't know why I do that every time. It's just it sounds like that Dorothy from or whatever. Wizard of Oz. They said AM. I don't know what that. I don't know. Maybe that's just implanted in my brain and it's not a real function. It never happened. Breaking downtrend. You got volume. I mean, again, every day is not an up day, but inside days you could sell cover calls. But I'm just letting it ride. I mean, same thing with AG. We were buying in the 9s and the 10s in the blue zone, and we're over the 100-day. You back test it. I don't know. I'm still bullish. I mean, again, when the market's getting smoked, what is up? What is up? Again, PAAS. This one's not as strong. It needs to get over the 100-day. But what is up? What's holding up? Materials, metals, miners. That's your friend. X, what did we say? Wait for this 25 area to break. Guess what? If you watched the video on pin action, you saw it was tied to the 24 area. Oh boy. I like when you hit highs and then you back off on light volume, because that means there's not a lot of conviction selling. Keep that in mind. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. It is Friday. Be careful what you are smoking, though. Let's keep it PG. VALE. We talked about this yesterday. Scott, Eric, everybody on the board was like, hey, 20-day, friends. Hit the 20-day. I wouldn't be surprised if you got the channel low. They're going to be equate to the same price. Those who bought in the mid-16s will probably be happy. And if not, they have a plan. And if not, it's still probably long-term going higher. It's just short-term. Good old CCJ hit channel high, backing off. I'm not really excited about the close. There is this gap to fill on earnings. But just notice, I mean, again, this backfilling is on light volume. Light volume pullbacks can typically be what they are, just light, and they just do what they're going to do. I mean, I don't know what to tell you at this point other than be patient and slap the like button. That's just a reminder. Just kidding. AMD. Let's get into tech, because this is the laggard. You can see it on the cues. We've said watch the 200-day. If the 200-day breaks, could be toast. I mean, I've warned people, lay off of AMD if you're bullish. I mean, trade it, but do not be overly bullish. At this point, I wait for all these trend lines to break. I know that's a lot, but keep in mind, when you will let the trend break, you will go higher. Do the same thing on this sucker. When you let man, that was even tight. I would say we could hold on. Here you go. Let the trend break. You're going higher. I mean, that it seems obvious, but people can't do it. They have to buy here, and then ultimately it goes lower, or they just wait months and months and months, and they go, well, I'm a long-term investor. And then it's like, man, well, you could have bought that other stock that went up 30%, but instead you bought this stock that went nowhere. And you're like, meh, bad idea. Apple, daily, 20-day. God, it is holding on to this blue zone. It can't get over this one. It's just tight and choppy. At this point, again, just lay off of it. I know that's hard to do, but everybody has to always trade, and they always have to be in the right positions, and always, they don't know when not to trade. And call me lazy, whatever you want, but I just don't overtrade. Roblox. Oh, bro. I know Scott was buying down in the 40 somethings, upper 40s, clearly. The stock is just, man, this has been like, this is the emotional roller coaster all in a year and change. Like, that's pretty impressive shit. A year. I feel like you got potential down here. Now, again, valuation wise, it's not cheap, but it's popular with the kids. And if it's popular with the kids, still got room to grow. I'm going to throw that out there. I don't know where the bottom is. I have no freaking clue, but if you like to buy it near the lows, I give it my blessing, because if you have a stop and a plan, remember, it was at 140. You're buying in the 40s. I like it. MicroStrategy, we said, as long as Bitcoin holds, Bitcoin holds up, 20-day trend line look fine. There's really not much to say. It could break, could not break. I don't know. I don't play this game of overthinking it. Rivian's holding up nicely. It seems to be holding this area. I'm not really too concerned about it in the midterm or the short term. Just watch the 20-day. I'm personally not in it. Again, I have zero overweightness in tech. I gave up on tech because when tech stopped acting well, I don't go back to the well. I don't like the pain. How about that? Tesla, we've said watch the 200-day in that little blue bubble. Just be aware, wait for the downtrends to break. It's easier than letting this thing go crazy. Consolidation. Look at all these colors, man. It's just choppy action. Again, when you broke this trend line, you did not follow through. So that tells me this isn't the trend line. Like, let's just update it. That means it doesn't matter. It is what it is. So watch the 200-day, watch the channel here, because if it breaks, you want to do the projections? Let's do the projections. I would think the 800 range is going to be your first support, which is the old support from January 27th. If that breaks, fibs here. You got a fib here. Well, that's there. I would say, wow, this is, I mean, you got the volume at price zone right here. I would think somewhere in this, wow, that's such a big range. Again, why do you have to make it so hard? Why do you have to buy it? Because again, if the channel breaks on the monthly, I don't know, 20 month, 50 fib, 0.618 fib. Again, I hate to be bullish on something that's dropping. It's such a painful thing. At times, we all do it. And again, I mean, you can do it with freaking roadblocks. I mean, if the discount, but this is not a discount to me. When a stock goes from, I mean, look at it. It went from the 20s post split to whatever it is now. I mean, it's not cheap. Roblox has already gotten its head handed to it. Tesla needs more information. At this point, I don't know if it's going to get slapped around even more. PENN Gaming, here's another one that we talked about. You could buy low and it popped. There was a trade. You know, we thought a Head and Shoulders bottom went actually lower. And this was, again, something I was wrong on. But if you bought at 37, you got a nice run to 52. That's a great trade. This isn't Tesla, but this is a great trade because you could buy a dip. I mean, this feels very similar to Roblox. It's just keep your hopes and dreams that it's going bonkers sealed. Take the money, trade it. UTHR, same thing. Got to break out. Got to hold the trend. It's really simple. EXPI. Yikes. Slam. Oh, man. I hope you rolled up. I mean, again, I got it in places. I own the stock. I didn't do anything. I should have. I didn't pay attention to it. The line in the sand is the mid-22s. That's really all you can do. I mean, it might be worth buying calls if it retests and the IV is lower. I'm just throwing that out there. You heard it here first. Let's end on the oil names as we always do. XOP, we said 113. It couldn't. Sell calls, hedge, 20 days key. Man, it is just playing with your emotions. ExxonMobil, I've said it broke. Okay. I said this was a overextended move. I didn't need an RSI or MACD. Bullshit. It just looked tired. It was going to get tired. This is a big dinosaur company. When it moves this big, it pulls back. Now you're under the 20-day. Again, watch previous videos. What did I say about ExxonMobil? Broke the downtrend. Do not be surprised if it backtests the 200 in the 100-month. You are there. Also, would not be surprised if it backtested. Looks like there's, I don't know why I have a trend line, but I have a trend line. Imagine that. Maybe it coincides. Let's get it lined up. There you go. What if they all... This is not coincidence, guys. If you think the algorithms are not in control of the markets, then you are brain dead. What if it gets back into the 72 area? That looks really good to me. So that's it. That's the video. Weekend recap. If you like this kind of stuff, please subscribe. Do daily market recaps, educational videos, in-depth analysis. Come by the Discord room. Link is in the description below. There's a lot of education here. If you think you know everything, stop in too. Let's have a discussion because I'd love you to challenge my insight. And I'm always up for a fresh perspective. I don't know everything about trading, even though I've been doing this a long time. Trading changes. You're always a student. 20 years of doing this, if you are not a student of trading and you think you know everything, you will become the next Kathy Woods and think you're a genius and ultimately will blow up because you have to be able to pivot. You have to be able to change. You have to see things differently. Don't be Kathy Wood.
Thanks for watching. For more trading knowledge and insight, click on the videos on the right and also join the Discord room. Link is in the description below. If you have any questions, please stop on by the Discord room and let's chat. Thank you.